Hello, everybody. It's your girl Chidera. I'm back again with another episode. So today we are going to be talking with a sales professional by the name of Yomi. We're talking about empowering entrepreneurs with proven sales technique. So as you know, as we do it, I will be bringing on our amazing guest today. Hello, Mr. Yomi. What's up? Welcome, welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here as well. I know you're super busy on a Sunday and it's like the holidays tomorrow. Everybody has something going on, right? Cookouts and
Absolutely.
everything. But as
hmm
you just mentioned earlier, you don't get any days off because you're in sales.
No days off. No days
Oh,
off.
that just sucks. So, Yomi, tell us a bit about yourself. Let us know, about what you do, who you are. Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Yomi Busari, and like the great hosts rightly introduced me, I'm a sales professional. I run a team. We sell solar energy in like 18 to 23 states in the country. So yeah, pretty much helping the government reach the mandate, which is to eradicate and eliminate carbon footprint. And without people like us, it will be hard for us to get the word to the public, as as much as it is, because people have different misconceptions. So people like us put ourselves in the front of people, like we're in the frontline work, like the
Yes.
military.
Yes.
To put ourselves in front of people and give them information, see how we can be beneficiary to them as well, and not just the government, because the government can push anything, right? So that's pretty much what I do. I have a little bit of background here and there in multimedia. I have my first degree is computer networks and cybersecurity. Some people wonder why I am in sales, but life has it, and I'm here now.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us, share with us your background. You shared a little bit of where you're coming from and things of that sort, but can you talk a little bit more about what got you into the area of sales, especially coming from the tech world that you're coming from, and especially with solar, because I think you're in solar, right?
Yep, I'm in solar, right? Morning, night, and and
Morning, day, and night.
morning, day, and night. I'm in solar, but I think I found myself by divine connection because I was introduced by a friend. I actually own solar in my house, the house that I was previously living, and someone was like, "Oh, this, do you want to look into it?" And I'm like, "But of course, with me having, like I said, my first degree is computer network and cybersecurity. That's my American degree. Like my
Mm.
degree back home in Nigeria was mass communication. So I majored in advertising and public relations. So while doing that in Lagos State University, before moving to the United States, I didn't even realize that I was training myself for communication, for proper communication, for sales, for advertising. And I also worked with advertising agencies a lot for almost a decade in Nigeria. So doing radio jingles, advertising, writing scripts, and all that stuff, I did that for like a decade. So that helped me to really understand how to pave my ways in terms of getting my words out there, you know, making the thing known to our community. So that was how I got into sales, and we've been doing that ever since.
So you do have this podcast. Let's talk about the podcast, because that's how I met him, guys. I saw
Yeah.
his video on Instagram. I was like, oh, this is a nice conversation that he's speaking to this realtor who's also a salesperson, right? And
hmm
so I would love for you to share a little bit about your podcast and what got you started into it.
Thank you. I've always wanted something, especially this is the season of podcasts. Maybe
It
not,
is.
maybe it's dying down, but I don't see anything bad in it. Like sometimes people want to make you feel guilty for
Mm.
trying to bring content out. But think about it. I think about it this way, that content can never be enough.
Mm.
Like it can never be enough. Don't ever think that content, oh, everybody is doing interviews, so that's a more reason why I shouldn't do it. No, that's the more reason why you should do it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I can only watch one comedian for 2 minutes. So what happens to the whole 24 hours, or when maybe, even if I'm putting an hour or 30 minutes in social media every day, that means I need to watch maybe 60 contents in that 30 minutes minimum.
Wow.
So there has to be someone feeding it.
Yeah.
And also when we try to control what people put out there, we say, oh, the people from the left and people from the right are contaminating the country. They are doing these crazy things. And we're seeing the people from the alphabet letters promoting themselves. And that's just what comes to my mind. Like everybody's
Yeah.
promoting themselves and you're complaining because maybe you don't belong to whatever they believe in. But I'm like, how do we balance the content that is being fed? You put your own there so that the algorithm can swing towards what you believe is right.
Yeah.
Instead of complaining about what they are doing. Like leave them alone. So
Right.
yeah, so because I'm in sales, I decided, like, especially with the kind of job that we do. So it came to my mind, like, sales ain't a bad word, because most people, when they hear the word sales, it triggers them. Maybe they've been sold wrongly. Maybe they heard, because most people haven't even had an encounter with a salesman, like
Yeah.
one on one, but they just feel triggered. Like, oh, this
Yeah.
person is trying to sell me. When you smile too much, they think he's trying to smile to sell me. When you do this too much, they're like, okay. So I'm like, you don't have to buy, just listen. You understand? There's an information out there for you that someone has to come and sell it to you.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So I named it Sales Ain't a Bad Word, so that when you see a salesman, it's not a bad word. Give them
Yeah.
the time, show them reception, and you might be able to learn one or two things or gain one or two things from it. And like I always use this analogy, like use an Elon Musk, for example. He sold an idea of a Cybertruck. Is one of the biggest salesperson in the world, if not the richest person in the world. He's a salesman. People don't know. People think he's in tech, but he's in the world of sales.
Yeah.
Someone told you an idea of a Cybertruck 3 years ago, and you bought into it and you put your money into it without knowing when it's gonna come. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
He just sold the idea to you. You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's the way that I looked at it.
That's what's up. That's what's
Mm-hmm.
up. And yeah, I know you're doing a lot with your podcast, and you guys definitely check them out on YouTube, on Instagram. But today we are talking again about empowering entrepreneurs in terms of, with proven techniques for sales. So, what are some of the most effective sales techniques that you have learned through your years in working in the sales industry, and you've applied throughout your career?
So, like we all know, most people in sales, they probably would have heard this before. People buy from who they like.
Mm.
You understand? Some people don't have heard the privilege by people telling me it's solar. People have told me, but Yomi, is you come. They didn't even hear what I was saying.
Yeah.
And like most of the time, I've told new guys coming in when I'm doing my training and all that, I'm like, sometimes I put myself in the customer's shoes. Like I meet you today, I start talking to you about this idea, about this product called solar. And by the time we're done, you're signing a $70,000 deal. You get what I mean? So sometimes I put myself in their shoes. So I am very patient. It's a big technique. Be patient with your customers. If they want to sign that document, tell them, I know you're going to sign. Hold on. I want to explain this to you. They can feel your energy. You understand? I'm like, oh, I know you want to sign. I know you love it. I know someone introduced you to me because they've seen a proven record of that, what I'm selling. So you don't even want to hear. I don't want you to be impulsive. I still want to tell you this, this, this. So it loses people's guard when they know that, yes, I was already interested in it, but now this person is interested in me knowing this. So be very interested in your customer. Everyone is important, but the most important person on the deal of the table is your customer, or the deal table, the deal of you understand what I mean? On the deal desk is the customer. So take your ego aside, take whatever you believe aside, and just keep quiet sometimes. And also, like we also know, one of the major techniques, like right now, you are the one in control of this show, even though I'm the one talking. Asking why? Because you're the one asking the question.
Yes.
So don't be the salesperson that talks a lot. Don't talk, especially when you're selling the products.
Yeah.
You understand? When you're selling the products, ask them questions. When they say something, be looking for a question to ask from the explanation. And like, so why is that? Like out of 20 minutes, you should only talk for 5 minutes if you're trying to really sell that person. Let them, because while they're talking to you, you're going to know what they need. It's like you are getting to know me, so I should be the one talking, right? But if you come to my show, it will be reversed because I want to know about you. So I'm going to ask you questions for you to talk. So those are, one of those few things. Don't make it about yourself. Don't get too emotional about it. Your customers are the most important people. Ask questions. And the list goes on and on.
That's fantastic. I know as you're talking, I'm thinking for entrepreneurs that are just getting started into their venture and they're thinking, okay, you know what? I need to sell my idea, right? You have a product, you have a hair product, for instance, or you have a beauty brand, you have a new tech startup that you're interested in, getting started. Now you have to go sell the idea to your potential customers. What is the main issue that you think or challenge that you feel like you might have seen throughout time when entrepreneurs are getting started? What do you think is one of the main challenges or a frequent challenge that a lot of the entrepreneurs that may face when it comes to selling their idea or product or service?
So first thing that I would think of is not doing your own homework, not doing your proper research, because people get excited when an idea comes. When you get too excited, don't take yourself out there with excitement, because excitement can get the word out there, but it's not going to sustain the business. It's not going to get investors don't move based on excitement. They move based on rational and logical thinking. Like they look at it from the logical point. When you're coming with excitement, they tell you, slow down. So, exactly. So, because like I tell people, sometimes I hold on to my sales when I'm talking to customers without too much talking towards technicalities of what the panels are made of, what the inverters are made of, because they might ask me questions that I don't know. Because some customers know more than you.
Yes.
So some people want to go into hair products and you want to sell something, since you mentioned beauty products, and you're going to someone to talk to them about beauty products, and you don't even know that person studied cosmetology or something in school. And you didn't even study.
Yeah.
You are just a passionate entrepreneur.
Yeah.
If you want to act like you know too much to that person, then your secret is going to be
they'll see you.
I think this person doesn't really know. Then it ruins your credibility. So most of the time, don't be too excited. Talk in the confinement of what you're saying. And also don't underestimate the power of a team. There's nothing that, even though I don't really talk on technicalities, if people ask me for technicalities, I'll tell them, oh, hold on, give me a second. I have someone on my team that I can call. This is a question that this customer is asking. What do you think that is? Oh, yeah. And I put the phone on speaker. They know that I have the network.
Yes.
So they trust me, but I'm not pretending or impersonating like I know everything, which also makes people human, right? You understand? It makes them feel like, okay, he's not trying to tell me something that is not. So I can believe every other thing that he tells me he is.
Wonderful. And I love that you mentioned the word credibility, because credibility, trust, they all go hand in hand. And as a person who is selling to anyone, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a salesperson in the solar industry, credibility and trust is really essential to acquire when you are dealing with your potential customers, your prospects, and things of that sort. And
Absolutely.
I heard you mention you're Nigerian,
Yes, I am.
apart from your name, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as a Nigerian, as a Niger person, how has the culture, our culture and background influenced your approach on sales and business relationship?
I mean, I always tell people you might not like Africans, but I love Africans. If you take Africans from America right now, I'll be dead broke because those are my customers.
Yeah,
And I tell people Cameroonians are dragging the number one place with Nigerians in terms of my customer base.
yeah, in the solar industry,
In
right?
the solar industry, they
Mm-hmm.
buy from me a lot. You understand? Like I can put them on almost the same ratio as Nigeria, as the way Nigerians buy. But bringing it back home, Nigeria has this this thing to the experience that we've learned from back home that makes us feel like, you know what, I didn't come with anything anyways. I might as well just lose everything. Like, let me just give
Yeah.
it a try. Like, I didn't come with anything. If you don't buy from me, I just take my bag and go. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm showing up like I don't really like I'm not under pressure to sell you. Like I have food on my table. I'm just here to give you an information. If that information sells right, then we buy. And I also believe that there's a lot of people, no matter how good you are, you should be between 4:1 to 10:1. You talk to 4 people, you sell one. You talk to 10 people, you sell one, depending on what your expertise level is in that general scheme of things. But if you talk to as much people, you're going to sell. You understand? So that's the mentality of a Nigerian in terms of numbers. We understand the power of numbers.
Yes.
You understand? So which is a big plus.
And I also think, me as a Nigerian myself, I don't know, there's this fearlessness. I don't mind to approach anybody. If my friend was going to sell to this person, even if I don't sell, you end up either doing some kind of business with me in some other way. There's this fearlessness that I don't know if it's because of the way we were brought up, in the environment that we're brought up. We are, well, most of us are brought up, especially if you're raised back home.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a little hostile, you know what I mean? It's a dog eat dog world, but
Mm-hmm.
that can toughen you up as well in so many other areas of life. And you can leverage those skills and knowledge and qualities that you have, built and enhanced as a Nigerian in the sales industry. So it's definitely helped me with being very fearless to an extent. I need to
Mm-hmm.
continue working on my risk taking, and that is more of a confidence thing in my own ability and competency, right? But that's
Mm-hmm.
something we're always refining and things of that sort. So that's great.
I mean, we always keep refining. That's why we still go for conferences with you. We still watch
Yes.
videos. We still listen to people. So there will always be things to learn. Sometimes I'm like, am I too aggressive in my approach? And some people will be like, oh, I like you. You're an aggressive salesman. Some people will be like, give me some time. So sometimes it's just to find a fine line. We're still
Yeah.
learning. We're always going to be learning.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to that's a great advice you just mentioned, which leads me to the next question of advice for entrepreneurs, right? What key advice would you give to an entrepreneur listening to this right now that is looking to improve their sales strategies and grow their business?
So take yourself out of the equation. Oh, I'm not a social media person. Can I curse on this show?
Yeah, you can.
Like, oh, I'm not a social media person. Like, that's bullshit. Like, post your content. Like, how do you expect people to know? Like, whether you're a social media person or not, okay, hire someone. See it as a priority. Let people know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
I have several businesses that I tell myself I give them an 18-month strategy. When I first started with solar, for 18 months, I was all over the place.
Mm.
So after that, I built another thing, another business that I'm doing, my multimedia business, because that has always been something. So I own a studio. Another 18 months.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm at the third 18 months of, sometimes there's break in between before I start the second thing, but I'm at another 18 months of my podcast.
Yes.
You're going to see it. Do you understand what I mean? Like, people need to see what you're selling. There's a reason why a Rihanna, a Beyonce, their first 10 years, they dropped maybe 100 songs. Don't look at them where they are right now because they don't really post on social media anymore, or because they release
They've
songs
earned that. They've earned that stage.
They've had that stage that they were like, boom, 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 boom. You must hear me by fire, by force. Let's do the Nigerian way. Like, so, always put your work out there. Be positive to feedback. And as a matter of fact, look for feedback.
Yeah.
Listen. They don't have to say it. Just watch. When someone hits your food, look at their face. How did they look? Was it like...
Yeah.
Even though they're not talking to you, watch them. Because someone is going to give you what you need, what you want to hear. It might not be verbal. It might be a reaction. Sometimes people say reviews, but reviews can be bought. So reviews can be targeted because your competitor can go sponsor someone to buy the bad review. And I also ask people, how many times have you gone to a fancy restaurant that is good and you love it? You might go back there, but how many times have you gone online to go write a review?
That's true.
Very little. But when something goes wrong, even if that's your number 100 time, and it goes wrong one time, you're going to go on there and say, they used to be very nice, but today I had the worst experience. You can't even...
That's me with Swahili Village and Beltsville. Yo, they're terrible. But
you get what I mean? So it might be like they've been good for a year, but one thing happened and you go write a review.